Welcome to Daily Mass Concepts. Today, what we're looking at is the PEP Grade 4 performance task. So we're going to try to go through as quickly as possible. If you are in search of PEP classes, if you want PEP classes, here is the number 4818561, right? Remember, it's a Delhi math, right? Concepts. So Delhi math concepts. You could see me on TikTok. You could see me on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. There are a lot of videos going on there. So go for it. This is our PEP grade 4. But I'm just saying, whether you're in grade 4, grade 5, or grade 6, well, you could link this number and you will get a nice class as of September coming. So get on board. All right. Thank you. All right. So the general instruction is that this task has three parts: part one, part two, part three. Let me get a slightly bigger pen. All right. Part three, part one has question one. Part two has question two and three. Part three has question four. All right. So instructions begin here. It says read the information in each part carefully. Use the information provided to answer all questions in each part. So let's get this show on the road. So instruction to task, water drinking contest. Miss Brown is concerned that her students are not drinking enough water, and she has challenged them to a weekly water drinking contest. The contest will be for 5 days, from Monday to Friday. The winner of the contest will be the student who drinks the most water. So here we have an example of a water bottle. So this is what the task really is. We're going to help Miss Brown to one, compare the size of the different water bottles, two, decide who drank the most water after day one. Okay. And then three, we want to decide the winner of the contest. Remember, we're going to be dealing with this for a week. So let us get into part one. Part one says size of water bottles. Miss Brown measured the size of each student's water bottle or student's bottle based on the maximum amount of water each can hold. Table one shows a list of the 10 students participating in the contest and the size of the water bottle in millimeters. Okay, so here it is. You're seeing Sheldon with 500, Nelka 750, Jaden 1,000, and it goes on. So we have 10 names and we're seeing the different water bottles there. All right, the size. Now comes the first question. So the first question says right here, use table one to answer the question below. So 1A, which student's water, which student's bottle can hold the most water? Write the name of the students in the space below. So which one of these students can hold the most water? What are we referring to? We're referring to which one of these would be the biggest number. So we're looking for the biggest number here, and the biggest number will be the student. So the biggest number, as you could see right here, is 1,500. And 1,500 is actually Kaon, right? So we're looking for that. 1,500 is Kaon. So Kaon, all right, has that biggest bottle, right? Can hold the most. So Kaon is the person that we're working with. So that's all you have to do. You grab that name and you write it there. So basically we are looking at size to see if we could note numbers here. You look for the biggest number and then you go. All right, let us go to the second part. So the B part says, this is 1B. It says which size bottle, water bottle appears the most, right? So we want to look to see which one is more frequently occurring, right? It says write the size of the bottle in this space. So it's the size that we're going to be writing. So you look to see which one of these numbers appears the most. So we're just going to tick off. We're seeing 250 just two times. We're seeing 500 two times, 500 one more time. So we're seeing 500 three times, as you could see. This is two times 1,000, two times. Okay, so 500 is it, right? So 500 would have appeared 3 different times. So the winner in terms of the size water bottle that occurs the most would have been 500 milliliter. So we're going to put that right here. So we're supposed to put 500 ml. That is the water bottle that occurs the most. It occurs 3 times. All right. And so we're picking up that. Now, which student water bottle can hold more than Camille but less than Brittany? So we're gonna look, all right? So it's more than Camille, less than Brittany, more than Camille. So Camille is 500, so it's gonna be more than 500. Brittany is 8,000. So we're looking for a number between 500 and 1,000, right? It has to be between that. And then there's only one number between that, and it is Nelka. So Nelka has a 750. So 750 comes between that. So Nelka bottle will be between Camille, but less than, more than Camille, less than Brittany. So Nelka, 750. Let's see what they want us to write, right? It says write the name of the student. All right, so it's Nelka. All right, let me just make sure that I have that spelling down right. Nelka. Yes, I did. So Nelka bottle holes between those. All right, not bad so far. We're done with part one. Part two, we're looking at day one. So in day one, he said at the end of day one, 4 students did not complete. So 4 students did not complete all the water that was in their bottle. Miss Brown measured the amount of the water they each had left in their bottle. The amount of water they had left is shown below. All right, so basically, so Jaden didn't finish, Kayan didn't finish, Anika didn't finish, and Brittany did not finish. All right, so that's that. Let us see if they have a particular question for us there. Okay, so the question is this. It says, how much water did each student have left, right, in their bottle? So write the answer in the space provided. So we want to just take a look at these measurements. So this one is 100 ml. So this is 100 milliliter. You could see, so you're looking for the blue line. This one is exactly 200. So this was the 200 for Kayan. So Jaden was 100 that was left. Kayan had 200 that was actually left. And then who else? Anika. You could see this was halfway between 3 and 200. So this was actually 250 here. So we're going to put 250 here for Anika. And Brittany, you could see that this is halfway between 0 and 100. So this is going to be 50. So Brittany had 50 left. So those are the measurements that they had left back right after day one. Let's proceed to see what else they want. So the B part of the question, it says, at the end of day one, how much water did each of the 4 students actually drink from their water bottle? Use table 1 and their response says to question 2A, which is the one that we just looked at, to help you answer here. So what I'm going to do is just to go for each of these to have the amount that the bottles that they have can hold. So let's just go for their bottle size. So Jaden. So Jaden can hold 1,000. We're going to put it there. So Jaden can hold 1,000 ml. Kayan can hold 1,005. So you want to just have this there, so 1,500 ml. Anika, let's see how much Anika has. Anika can hold 1,250. So we're going there. So Anika can hold 1,250 milliliter. And Britannia, I think it was 1,000, but I'm gonna still double check. Britannia is 1,000 milliliter. So 1,000 milliliter. So let's just make sure that we have the numbers right. All right. So the thing is now, this question is saying, write your response in each, what it is that we want to do, right? So you want to make sure how much water did each student of the 4 students drink. So you're gonna now subtract from this the amount that each of these students had left over. Because remember that they had some left over. So we're going to use that to work it out. All right, we're going to subtract. So let us just get our subtraction on. Right, so we're going to work it out to show. So let's go for Jordan. So we had 1,000, and then what we're going to subtract from that is what was left. Okay, so it's Jaden. So let's go back here. Jaden, Jaden, Jaden had 100 left. Okay. All right. So we're going to just work it out. No rush. Jaden had 100 left. So we're going to take 100. So 1,000 minus 100. Jaden actually drank 900 on this day one. Let's go for Kaon. Let's see what Kaon did. So Kaon drank and left 200, right? So 200 was left, so we're going to subtract that. So it's going to be 1,500, and we're going to take this 200 that they have left. So this is going to be 1,300 that she actually drank, right? So KN actually drank 1,300 on day one. This is day one, everybody. Anika, let's see how much Anika had left back. Anika, let me just scroll up a little bit. Anika had left back 250, right? So for Anika, it's 1,250. Subtract that 250 that she left back, she would have drank 1,000 milliliter on that day one. Brittany, let's go for the last one. Brittany had left back 50. All right. So Brittany left back 50. So for Brittany, it's 1,000, and we're taking from that the 50 that was left back. So she only drank 950 milliliters. So here it is. This is day one for these. Everybody else drank off everything that they had. So these are the ones that had left back or leftovers, and this is what they actually drank. All right. So you just want to make sure that you are doing the calculations right and everything. So this is what they drank. All right. All right. Now let's go to the C part. 2C. It says here, the other six students drank all the water from their bottle. Using table one, what could be said about the amount of water each student, which is those that had left back that we just did, bottle can hold, okay, compared to the other six students' bottle. So, all right. So write your response here. So we want to compare these numbers. So what were the numbers? There was a 1,500 for one of them. There was a 1,000 for two of them. And there was also a 1,250. So these are the size because they want us to compare the other six. So we're going to look at the other six very quickly. All right. So I could just do it right here. So, all right. So we're dealing with these right here, these, and we want to compare them with the others. And with the others, you could see one, I guess they wanted to make comparison. You could say that these four, their water bottles can hold a lot more than all the other six. Trust me, you could see that. So their bottle can hold a lot more than all the other six. For some of them, it can hold 2 times or 3 times the amount, 4 times the amount. But generally speaking, these four persons' water bottle can hold a lot more than all the other six persons. So we could just drop that generalization about it, right? So we're saying that. So let us see. So these four students water bottles can hold a lot more than the other six. So I'm just writing other six water bottles, right? So I'm just saying that. And there are other things that you can come up with. All right. So definitely you can even say that you can fill the others more than one time or and have leftover and stuff, whatever you want to say. All right, so I'm just saying one thing here. I'm just saying one thing, right? So I'm saying that these four students' water bottle can hold a lot more than the other six. So definitely I'm gonna move on from that. But there are other things that you can say there, all right? They never specifically force us to say. All right, so that's an open question. Now, this part says the other six students finished drinking all the water from their bottle, right? All the water from their bottle. They refilled their bottles and drank all of it. Okay. So these other students with the smaller bottles, they refill a number of times. They were allowed to refill their bottles as many times as they wanted. All right. But the key thing is whenever they refill, they finished it. That's what this is saying. Now, Miss Brown started to complete table 2 as shown on page 9. When completed, it will show this, right? So when completed, let's look. This is what we're going to get from it. The number of times each of the six students refilled their bottle. So we're going to see how many times they refill. The total amount of water each of the six students drank um, at the end of day one. So this is focusing on day one right here. Hint. So here's a quick hint. Sheldon drank all the water from his bottle. He then refilled one more time and drank all of it. So you could see he has a 500 bottle and he refilled one more time. That's 500 more, a total of 1,000 he drank on that day. That's what this is suggesting. Help Miss Brown to complete table 2 on page 9. We're getting there. This is page 8. Calculate the total amount of water each student, which is Jillian. So we have Jillian, Dylan, and Mark drank. Okay, so we're going to do that. It says the total amount of water that Sheldon, Nelka, and Anelka drink has already been done. So there's three of the students where it was already done. We're just going to complete this. But everything is here set up for us. What do I mean? We have the name for the students. We have the amount of water each bottle can hold. We have the number of refills. And then we have the total over here that we're going to do. So let us just get to it. Jillian had a 500 milliliter bottle. She refilled 2 times. What does that mean? It means that she had that for herself, right? And then she refilled once, and then she refilled one more time. So she actually had that bottle 3 times, and that's 1,500. And this is what she drank on day one. That's day one for her. For Dylan, he refilled 3 times. So I'm just gonna, so this is gonna be a 250 for the first time that he had his bottle, and then he refilled 3 times. So we're gonna add 250. We're gonna do that. So in all, he did the 350 4 times. He did the 250 4 times, which is going to make that 1,000 milliliter on day one for Dylan. All right, so you're looking at that. Let us look at Mark. Wow, Mark went hard because Mark had a regular 250 and then he's going to do it 4 more times. So it's going to be 250, 250, that 250, that's 3, and then one more plus 250. So eventually, Mark actually did a total of 1,250 milliliters, and that's on day one. So there it is that we finished. We just completed that table to complete to show what the refill did with what they had. All right. Now let's get into, we're at the end. It says part 3, winner of the water bottle drinking contest. It says, oh, okay, class. And the winner of the water drinking contest is Dylan. So Dylan won. So we said, okay, he drank a total of 6,500 milliliter. All right, so Dylan did that. And then Mark was saying, how did that happen? I had a, I had the same size. All right, fine. So they had the same size bottle. All right, no problem. And we have Anika. Anika says, this is the same thing I want to know. My bottle is much bigger. All right. So Anika is saying that, hey, my bottle is bigger. Oh, I didn't win. Mark is saying, but I have the same size bottle. But Dylan had a little secret. No, this is it. He says, I know the secret to winning. Hooray. So he did win. Now, what we're going to do now, let's read. Anika, it was a close, the teacher saying this, Miss Brown is saying, listen, it was a close race between you and Dylan. I had to record the total amount of water you and Dylan drank each day. Let me show you it. Let me show it to the class. So this is what is going down now. So there's a little bit of controversy as it relates to the amount of water that was drank by Dylan and Anika. But let us get into it. Table 3, our final. It says, show how Miss Brown recorded the. So this table shows how Miss Brown recorded the total amount of water that Dylan and Anika drank for the remaining. So this is from day 2. Remember, we have day 1 statistics already. Okay, so it is from day 2 she started doing this. So we're gonna have to go and pull back day 1 for these 2 people, and then we could talk about it. All right, so we'll get that in a little bit. So question 4 says, in the space provided, use calculation to help Miss Brown to show. So it's like we want to prove to the class and explain to the class what Dylan did, okay, in order to win. All right, so in your answer, you should A, compare the amount of water Dylan and Anika drank overall. So we're going to look at their total overall. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. And then the second thing we're going to do is to, hey, explain how Dylan won. And we're going to use table 2. So let us focus on their total. So I'm just going to say we want to focus on their total first. So we're talking about having day. I'm just gonna put a quick thing here. So for day, I'm just a D1, D. I'm just gonna say D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, and I'm just gonna put the names here. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm doing. I'm just doing a quick thing here. Day 1 was left off. We didn't get day 1, but I'm gonna just drop it here that so you could see what goes on each day, and then that there was a total at the end right there. So we're gonna put the names of them right there. Allow me to just do this quickly, people. Not a big deal. Sorry for this, but we gotta do this. All right. Now we're gonna put Dylan's name here. I'm gonna put Dylan. This is Dylan. And then this is Anika. All right. So one of the things that we gotta go back for is day 1. So let us see what Anika drank in day 1, and Dylan. So you gotta go back to the table, right? Because day one would have been so day 1 for Dylan is 1,000. This is Dylan is 1,000, and then day 1 for Anika would have been from all the way up there when we were showing what they left over on day 1. So Anika was 1,000. So they tied on day 1. You could see that they tied. But this was day 1 for those with the big bottles, right? So they both drank 1,000. So we're going all the way down there. We're gonna fill that out, and then we're gonna quickly just go through this to prove the point. All right, so we're looking at the total. So Dylan for day 1 was 1,000. Anika was also 1,000. So they both had that same amount. Let me change the pen for this one. All right, give me a minute. Let me use a black pen. So Dylan was 1,000 on that day. Anika was 1,000. And we're talking about day 1, everybody. Now for day 2, we're seeing day 2 for both 1,000 and then one. So 1,000 for Dylan and then 1,250 for Anika. So Anika drank more on that day. Then we have the tie. Then they both tie here 1,250 on day 2. They both tie. And after that, Dylan took over 1,500 to the same. Okay. So Dylan started to drink more than that. So he's doing a lot of refills. She's still maintaining the same amount. And on the last day, Dylan go 1,750. And then you could see that 1,750, and she still maintained drinking that. So what we're gonna do now is to total what we have. So we got day 1 from what we have, then day 2, 3, 4, and 5. Miss Brown had that. So we could add these up. So there you go. That's a 0. This is a 0. Carry a 1 here. 1. This is 3. This is 10. This is 15. There's a 1. Carry 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you could see this was 6,500 ml for the land. And for this one, we have 0 here, This is a 0, carry the 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 0, carry the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. All right. So you're seeing right there a big difference in their total. So definitely Dylan actually did it. Dylan drank way more. All right. So Dylan drank way more than Anika. So that's the total. So you saw that Dylan did it. Now, so that's the A part where we're checking up their total. We saw that Dylan really drank more. Okay. Now, we want to explain, right? So let us see if we could drop in a quick explanation. Explain how Dylan won. Use table three to help you. Table three. Let's go back to our table three. Well, table three would have been this part going down. This is the table three. So let's look. On day one, they were tied, right? On day three, they tied. You could see that. Now, Anika only beat Dylan once with a 250, right? So you could see there's a difference of 250 right here. So she had an extra 250. That's Anika was leading. So up to day three, she was leading. But by the time you reach day four, Dylan would have drank 250 more, and then this would have been a balance. You could see Dylan drank more here. So Dylan had an extra 250, which means that they are now equal again, because this would have canceled out. But by the time it's the last day, Dylan had an extra 500 right here. So you could see the extra 500 here, extra 500. But not only that, how Dylan did it, he did a lot of refills. So Aneka kept just drinking off her big bottle and she was not refilling. Dylan was refilling crazily. You could see Dylan did a lot of refills, and not just one or two refills, right? He did a lot of refills to make sure. Look at Dylan's size bottle, everybody. Take a look at Dylan. Where Dylan at? Dylan had a 250, right? So Dylan had a 250 bottle. And what Dylan was doing was even on this last day, he refilled 6 times, right? So Dylan, so he refilled 6 times here, he refilled 5 times here. That means he would have drank off and then go back 5 more times. He would have drank off and went back 6 more times. So he was using a lot of refills, and that paid off in the end, where he ended up drinking a lot more than Anika. So definitely that should clear it up. And that's the end of it. So